Aloha, ladies and gents.
Aloha, he says.
A whole version of me. Let's get this show on the road. Got some Eminem playing in the background because I can't even turn it off, but who cares? That's my road dog right there. 39 years old is what I'm turning tomorrow, and still listening to Eminem. That's how I roll.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business, on social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, dude.
I just realized something though. I got a little bit of a bone to pick with StreamYard.
Why? They changed the way
these
all
the clips?
They're all straight. They're all narrow. It looks weird, right?
I hate it. I
like the 2 rows, man.
Yeah, give me the 2 rows. But anyway.
Big old long
happy birthday, bro.
Thing.
Big old long ass birthday thing. Happy freaking birthday. You're 39 tomorrow.
Damn.
And the world is changing? That's what you want to talk about?
The world is changing. I don't know. I had to throw something together because guest wasn't showing up. So I was like, all right, let's do something.
Hate when that happens.
Yeah,
Dude, I was really looking forward to this guest too. So like I got his whole intro written up. We're going to find out how to use
how to earn
blockchain, how to earn cryptocurrency while browsing the internet. Like what?
Dude,
that sounded cool.
I always feel gypped. Like I read their profiles. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good one. I want to learn about XYZ, right? Whatever it is that they're doing in their life. And then when they don't show up, I'm like, oh, come on, bro.
That's
like
mofo.
Do you realize we have like we're like literally I booked 3 show guests, and it's like late October like 18, 19, 20. Like we're booking out that far in advance. So like if you book a spot on the show, you gotta show up. Like you just can't, or at least I understand life happens and life, things get in the way or whatever, but like send a message. There's a little reschedule button, whatever, because there's other people who want to get on the show. Plus, if you're a cool guest and you have a great story, now you want to hear it. I want to hear it. Now you make me feel bad because I wasn't able to get your story on the show. So that sucks. Dude, his story, when I clipped it, I was like, oh, learn how to earn crypto from browsing on the internet. I was like, okay.
That sounds cool. Yeah.
That sounds cool. That's different. I know crypto's the way of the future. That's where things are going. Please educate me.
Right.
And then you don't show. Ugh. One of the core values, Billie Jean's core values, speed, flexibility, punctuality are our strengths. Embrace them with grace, right? Like that's just what you got to do. You say you're going to do something, you do it. That's it.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Exactly, Master Yoda. That's what I'm talking about. All right, Ham. So Instagram story this morning, ran my 6 miles. I'm at 30 something miles this week.
Wait, you ran your 6 miles today? You crazy.
Even though I know tomorrow we're doing the 8 miler. I know. I'm going to see how close I get to that 40 marker after the entire week. So anyways, at the end, I do my Instagram story, and it's about birthdays. And I'm kind of, I'm always torn when it comes to birthday time. Because on the one hand, it's like, I'm just happy to be above ground, right? Like I'm here. That's like blessing number one. I mean, grateful to mom and dad for like conceiving me, having me, raising me. You know what I mean? Like all of the above. But on the other hand, I feel like it's a soft, like it makes people soft. Like this is the day that they get celebrated. They get like, a birthday party and cake and people come and tell them all these things. But just because you're here, like because you were on Earth,
because you made another revolution around the sun.
But I feel like I don't know. I'm torn. I'm like, why don't we celebrate some of the more important days? Like for me, July 13th.
Okay, I mean we celebrate that. Right. But we celebrated that here on the podcast, which is the right place to celebrate it. But like, what, you want people to throw us a party for our podcast
I don't know about
anniversary?
Other people throw us a party, but like we should throw a party, right? Like that's something that we purposely, intentfully created. We worked our butts off to create. It's we've built it and it's become a thing, right? Like being born To me, it almost feels like, and I'm torn, right? Because there's a lot of people, I get it, birthday week, they do birthday month, they have a blast, and it's, a way to let loose. And I understand that. But for me, I feel like it's that participation trophy. Like, I didn't really earn this. I just happened to be lucky. I was the 1 in 4 trillion chance of being born. And I was born, here in the US. I was born in, in San Diego, California. Exactly. Right. I could have been born in somewhere else, or I could have not been born at all. Like, I didn't do anything today. You know what I mean? Like, I literally didn't do anything. I literally was pushed out and I cried, and I wasn't even like capable of standing on my own like some of these other creatures on this planet.
Well, it's certainly more enjoyable than my average day.
It is. I don't know. I guess I'm just bitching about, getting older. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking for an excuse to bitch about getting a little bit older. I don't know. But anyways, so, birthdays, right? Birthdays in the world's changing.
Bah, humbug.
Bah, humbug. That's how I roll. Every year for birthday, I'm always doing the old reflection. Like, where am I at in my life? Right? Like, what have I accomplished so far? Am I where I want to be? And so today I was watching some Matthew McConaughey
will you
stuff.
Ever really be where you want to be, though?
That's why I was going, right? I was watching some Matthew McConaughey stuff and how he talks about, who's his hero. His hero is himself 10 years from now. Right. And every year, and Rosa always gets on my case because she's like, I don't feel like you're ever happy on your birthday. Like, and now, in hindsight, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, it's because I have gotten better. Right. I've improved in our lifestyle. I've improved in our businesses. I've improved as an individual. I've improved in my health. Like, I'm moving forward. But where I'm at, like, I always feel like I can do better. Right. And so I think that taints when I look back and I reflect. Like, I was literally, like just journaling some stuff right before we hopped on the program, because I don't know what's going to happen later tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to be tired or whatever. But my day is very packed. It's very like, ever since we went kind of back from COVID, there's always something on the calendar, right? Like, I wake up at 4:20 every morning. I do my workout. I go for my run. I come back. I make my own breakfast, or I make breakfast, something for lunch for me and Rosa. The kids are making their lunch. I get dressed, showered, go, and I'm at school, and then it's the next period, and then it's the next period, and then I got to make a phone call, or I got to go, on an appointment, whatever it is. It's like, everything's go.
Mm-hmm.
I almost miss COVID. Like, I almost miss, I really do miss that, like, pause button of, thanks, Mom, love you. See, I should be telling Mom happy birthday. Like, you did all the work, Ma. I didn't do anything. I just showed up. You, like, made this. You did all the work. It's like your Labor Day.
True.
It wasn't
Your
my
Labor
thing.
Day.
Like, yeah, it was your Labor Day. Like, that's what it was.
Too funny.
You have too much fun. What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. The COVID times. So
Pre-COVID times.
Pre-COVID times. So I missed that pause button. I missed that, that ability to, like, sit back and just kind of ease into things. You don't realize how much time you spend. Your day. Well, it's time wasted too, right? Time wasted driving from one location to the other. Mm-hmm. Time wasted waiting in lines to do things. And today, for example, for lunch, I went and grabbed lunch for a couple teachers, and so I'm in line at Wendy's, and I'm looking around in the line, and half the people have a mask, half the people don't. Right? Mm-hmm. Some people, we're in this awkward situation right now with the whole, Delta variant scare. And everybody's looking at different things. Everybody's looking at, well, what are the stats on this? And what about this vaccine? And what about, what about this transmission rate? And, like, everybody's looking at these things. And, and when you kind of take a step back, and it was cool because it happened in this Wendy's environment where we were in line, and there were a couple people with masks, a couple people without, and they were just having a conversation about choice, right? Mm-hmm. About their own choice, about how, they're comfortable with people who aren't. And this is, I'm just listening to this conversation, right? They're complete strangers. And, they're talking about, I had my vaccine and this thing, and the person who's talking about their vaccine is talking about how, they don't really want to push it on anybody else, and how everybody should have their decision. And, if I feel uncomfortable, And that
I feel
dialogue right there.
uncomfortable, I can put on my mask.
Yes. That dialogue right there. To me, that was so beautiful to see.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't judgmental. Everybody had their own idea in that line of what they should do. You know, there was somebody who had a mask on who said they hadn't gotten a vaccine. They don't think they're going to get the vaccine, but they feel more comfortable wearing a mask. There was a lady who didn't have a mask, and she's like, I'm not going to get a mask. I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want to get the vaccine. There was a lady who was wearing a mask and has been fully vaccinated. And they were all having this discussion without like punching each other. You know what I mean? Like
Without punching each other.
Well, because when you watch things, you know what I mean? When you watch things out there in the world and what's going on, you know, the world is changing. I'm 39 years old. When I was young, there was no cell phones. There was no internet, right? I mean, today there's all that stuff. I was talking to some students. I was like, look, when we were growing up, the information we had was what we've read in our encyclopedias. And if we got an encyclopedia set in the 80s, that was different than that information was a little bit different than if you got the encyclopedias in the 60s or the 70s, right? It was updated. We could grow up in this bubble and we didn't know any better, right? We had an idea of what happened because you saw it on the news a little bit here and there, but that was the limited amount of information that we have. And today, I wonder, like, what's the future going to hold? We have so much information. Everybody has it's like information overload, so much to the point that you don't know what's true, what's not true, what's verified, what's not verified. What are they hiding? What are they not hiding? Like, you just
60% of the time, it works every time.
Exactly, right? And so for me, you know, when I experienced that today, no matter what kind of information there is out there, no matter what your decision is, you know, talk to people. Have a conversation, because I believe that I believe most people are good and they want to do right by their families. They want to do right by their friends. They want to do right by other people, and they're making the best informed decision that they possibly can for themselves. Right. What bothers me about what's happening in the world lately is more about what is being forced upon you versus our choice that we can make. All right. I had this other discussion, with another teacher, right? And we were talking about conservatives and liberals, of course, right? Because that's what this particular teacher talks about. And he's telling me his point of view and how we should just be if everybody just got vaccinated, everything would be so much better. We should just force it upon people. And then this thought popped into my head, and so I was like, you know what? It's my body, my choice. Right. And I was just remembering, there was a time, and I told him this, I was like, there was a time when the liberals were really adamant about my body, my choice when it came to abortion, that everyone has a choice to make because it's their body. Where did it flip around? like, I don't know, man. It's kind of the world. I mean,
I'll answer the question for you. It's when it affects the safety of other people. Like,
it does.
That's it.
Because now we get into the whole idea of, well, you're affecting the life inside of the womb. You're affecting the life of the particular individual. You're affecting the lives of the people who are going to raise these children, right? Like right. there is effect in more places than one. There's a lot of effect. But again, and here's one of those things where people are like, well, where do you stand? Are you conservative? No, man, I lean pretty liberal on a lot of social issues. I just believe in everybody. Really? I do. Like, yeah, you want to go do, I believe your body's your choice. I may not agree with you that you should terminate this life, but it's your choice. Right? Like I believe in people making choices, and I worry about,
just because you're pro-choice doesn't mean that you're liberal leaning.
Well, there's a lot of things, right? For example, your whole podcast, right? I agree with people being able to identify, do those things the way they want to. Totally okay. You want to associate yourself that way? You want to change your gender? You want to do those things? By all means, go do it. My issue is always when you try to force other people to accept things that they don't accept. Right? That's like trying to turn a Christian into a Buddhist. Like, they're just not going to accept it. Well,
exactly.
Yeah, what I'm saying is they believe something so wholeheartedly that they want to convert the other side.
No.
Right?
No. They just want acceptance. There's a difference between conversion and acceptance. Like, okay, let me put it to you this way, right? When we're talking about queer and trans, and especially trans Black women, right? Like, there is a lot of history of not just discrimination, but straight up violence, right? Murders. And I agree. We talk about I can't remember his name, Matthew Shepard, I want to say, right? Who was,
that name sounds familiar.
Right, I think it was in Oklahoma, and beaten and
dragged
and killed. And,
yes, I remember
like,
that.
These are things that, you know, and he was a white guy, but like you can go all the way back to like Emmett Till, who same thing, right? Beaten, dragged by barbed wire, and then you had the open, like this kind of discrimination and you know, that kind of violence, like that is what
that is wrong.
That's the history though. But if we don't make the changes to make it acceptable, right? If we don't make the changes to allow people to live their lives, then we fall to the other side, which is that discrimination and that and that kind of, you know, the people in power, the norm, you know, becomes so it's powerful enough to lead to, you know, that kind of violence and you know, I mean, slippery slope type of thing. We start talking genocide, but I mean, I'm not even going to go that far, but you know,
but here's my thing is I don't believe that most people are like that. And that happens not just in LGBT communities. That happens when you have any cultural differences whatsoever, right? Mm-hmm. Heated debates happen amongst people who believe different things all the time. And whether it goes to a violent scene or not, that is in individual small little things that happen, right? And I think talking about it, I think putting it out there, and no matter what it is, I don't care if it's, you know, two people fighting over a bologna sandwich, right? Bologna, jerky, bologna, and they, you know, throw blows at each other. It's still wrong when you take a physical action against somebody. I believe it's wrong, right? But I still believe it's okay. If you believe that, you know, it's not right for gay people to get married, then you know what? Go leave over there by yourself or go believe with your group. That's the scary part.
Their group has had power for ever, right? And it's not until recently, like the last 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is, that gay marriage was even approved. So like
progress.
There's progress.
There is progress.
There is progress.
And that's a good thing.
It is a good thing, but that's, you know, to me, that's what the two-party system does, right? It keeps us kind of towards the middle, but I personally believe that it's always leaning left, right? Because progress is good. I think no matter who you are, I think you can believe that progress is good. And, you know, there's a lot of conservative ideals that are being challenged today, and you know, things are changing, but you know, you go too far to the left and that's a bad thing, you go too far to the right and that's a bad thing. So these two systems are constantly counterbalancing each other and keeping us kind of in the middle,
which is a good thing, right? Which is an amazingly good thing. And again, for me, it's one of those things where like you can have an opinion, that's fine, but we should be having a dialogue.
Yes.
And what scares me is today we're starting to see more and more of this. How can I put it?
I'm right, you're wrong. The cancellation,
right? Mm-hmm. That stuff is scary. That is, and I don't care what you want to call it. You know, for me, when I see things like where if you disagree with this person who has their own, you know, COVID is the one that's big right now. You disagree with whatever, and then your profiles get deleted or your voice gets censored, or that is a problem. That is straight out like Nazi. That's straight out what's happening. That is canceling one voice because you disagree. Like that's a scary time that we're heading towards. I know we don't want to really go genocide or anything, but that's the slippery slope that we fall on when you start, you know, when you don't agree, you just cut them out completely. That's not progression.
Like former President Trump, who can't get on any social media now.
Right? Like I don't agree with everything I don't agree with everything he says or the way he says it.
Mm-hmm.
but he's an American citizen. We have that First Amendment right. However, right, and here's the caveat for those types of things. Those companies, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all these companies, there's some private companies. Like if they don't want you to be on, they don't have to be on, right? So, I mean, they don't have to have you on. They are private companies, but they do control much of the narrative. And that's one of those things where right now it's just swinging in this direction. What if it swings in another direction and you have somebody else or another party that comes into power and they utilize the same things and start censoring you the other ways? Right? You have countries, you see people that are coming from countries like North Korea, South Korea. North Korea doesn't even allow people to have the internet. They don't even know they're oppressed. That's kind of scary.
I'm pretty sure they know that they're oppressed.
Well, a lot of them don't even understand what the world is like. I saw some interviews with some people in North Korea that don't know the size of other countries. Mm-hmm. They've never seen a world map. Right? They've only been in their country. They only know this one way of life. They don't really know that they're oppressed. They think that's just the way life is.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Right. And so we're living in this beautiful country, 39 years old now, coming into this beautiful world where everybody has an opinion and everybody has dreams and goals and aspirations that they want to do. And I guess my message for today is talk to people.
Talk to
people. Have a conversation with people, especially the people that you do not agree with. Right? Mm-hmm. Especially the points of views that really trigger you. Control your anger, control your physical aggression, but have a conversation with people because you're going to realize it's, and I'm speaking from experience from doing this podcast, 782 episodes. We've had over 600 people on the show, all from different walks of life, most of which I don't know what their political affiliations are. I don't know what their stance is on COVID. I don't know what a lot of these hot topic items are. But the people who have come on the show have one thing in common. They want to better their situation. They want to help other people succeed so that they can be successful as well. This is what most people want to achieve. This is what most people want out of life. They want to be good people. Most of them are good people. Do not stop yourself from having a conversation with somebody because, they are not vaccinated. They're Republican. They're Democrat. They're educated,
a Californian-born liberal.
Exactly. Have the conversation.
Okay, so and the reason why I bring that up is I went to coffee with Ollie and some friends of his, and one of them made that joke. I'm a California-born liberal, and get out of here. You can leave right now. And I'm like, I actually am. Hi. And they're like, oh, but you don't act like it, so it's fine. I'm like, okay, but I definitely got some eye rolls like, oh, really? Oh, this guy, California-born liberal.
But again, but here's the thing. Did you hear that? You don't act like it. What are you supposed to act like? Are you supposed to walk around with an L on your forehead? Are you supposed to walk around with an R on your forehead? What are you supposed? I don't get what acting like is. What acting like is you just care about people. You might, when it comes to the nitty gritty, you're at the very edge. You have to make a decision one way or another. You might lean a little bit to the other way in this decision because you feel it's the greatest opportunity for humankind to move forward together. Now, it doesn't matter if it's one side or the other. That's just where you lie. That's how your genetics are. That's how your mind thinks. That's what your upbringing has brought you to do. But it doesn't make you a bad person. They're still having coffee with these people. You're still talking to them every day. You still consider them friends, right?
Still had a great conversation and, had a fun time.
That's the beauty of it. We don't have to agree to have a conversation. And we live in a time where we're more connected than ever before, and we can't have dialogue. We can't have a conversation with people.
There's a lot of, I don't know what you call it, like internet armor, I guess. When you get onto a Facebook post and you just start talking smack, you just start berating somebody who has a different opinion than you. And it's because on the internet, they don't know who you are. They can't find you. We say things on the internet that we'll never say in person. Right. And I think if we could shift that around and if we could just treat people like the real human beings, because the internet is so good at making us all anonymous, but if we could just treat people like they're actual human beings, you wouldn't say some of the stuff that you say online to someone's face.
That's because you get punched in the face.
Exactly. Exactly. The internet has created this space where people feel like they can say whatever they want without consequence.
You just brought something up. You asked me before the show what I thought of your show on the safe space.
Right.
And I feel like the internet is people's safe space. They may be saying some harmful ass shit, right? They may be saying some vindictive stuff. They may be, inciting some, hard emotions, but they feel like it's their safe place to do that. Like they feel like it's their safe place to voice out their opinion.
My Facebook page is my Facebook page. I can say whatever I want on my Facebook page. If you don't like it, don't follow me.
And you know what? That is your right.
Absolutely. 100%.
Just like it's your right not to follow them. And that's
I'll tell you where like we have to draw that line, and the reason why Trump got banned is because there's one thing where I'm sharing my opinion, voicing my opinion, and I can get a following or whatever. But like when it comes to starting to incite violence, that's where we have to draw the line. When it comes to perpetuating hate speech, because again, right, if we get enough people together that believe in one thing, then that group of people can oppress another group. And so when we start gaining that kind of like we have to be careful about that. And I know that it can go either direction, right? It could go on the left side where you're talking about cancel culture and all of these different things where if you don't say the right things, we're just going to cancel you. I'm not going to get behind that either. It's a fine line to walk. And this technology and this ability to have such a platform where you can get millions of followers to just listen to you, like this technology is all new and we don't know where we're going with it. We're coming up with the rules as we go along, and what the things that were happening prior to January 6th, like there was a lot of very dangerous stuff that led to that. There's a lot of very dangerous stuff that leads to the riots that we saw, last year. Like there's a lot of things that are gaining momentum in multiple directions. And it's all about how we're using this platform and the things that we're learning as we go that, these companies and, along with Congress, I guess, are going to start putting these measures in place to make sure that as a society, we use these tools in a way that is going to benefit people and, as opposed to hurt them, because that is an important distinction that we have to be able to make. We have to allow for that First Amendment, the freedom of speech, but we also have to protect against, discrimination and supremacy of any kind.
I mean, I can't argue with that. My issue is always who is the judge and jury, right? Like
Who
now
has
we have
been the judge and jury.
Well, right now we have a system where, whether you agree with it or not, the way it's done, we actually elect somebody into office to be, at the top. It's at the point of presidency, right? That's the way it operates. But nobody elected Mark Zuckerberg, right? Nobody elected, Jeff Bezos. Like nobody's electing these people who are running these massive companies or these social media companies. They're able to dictate what they want based on their own opinion, right? And that's kind of the scary part. That's where the policing gets a little bit scary. I agree with you that, you don't want to incite riots and stuff. But at the same time, we're so afraid of any type of tribulation, any type of trial, that no one's willing to actually sit down and do anything about it. Like I just strongly believe that if somebody is super hateful, that if you just cut them out of your life, like the news, for example, how much news do you watch?
These days, not much.
Nothing.
I mean, I read articles, but
right here and there, right? I don't watch any news either because it was all negative. If you don't like something, cut it out of your life. Do not pay attention to that narrative. And I believe that, same thing for, that store that didn't want to make a cake for the gay couple, right? I think if that story comes out, the population will decide whether that is acceptable, not acceptable, and put them out of business. I think people are good people. I think if we have dialogue and we have discussions and we have conversations, those things will happen. Now, here's the problem.
We get into the oppressive systems, though, because if
here's the problem. No one is willing to fight, right? No one is actually willing to go out and have those conversations and go out and actually, the protests that happen, those are all great things, right? When people are, come out in their masses and they're showing their support for something, those are great things. Civil rights movements that come out, those are great things. And yes, when those things happen, sometimes you have some negative issues that happen. Sometimes you have people that get hurt, and sometimes you have people that are shamed or bullied or whatever it is that happens. It's life. It's humans. We're still ugly and flawed in that way. But I think the majority of the time, we move in a positive direction. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you said, where things happen, progress is moving forward. I think when you have massive movements like that, that's dialogue happening. And even though you get sides that don't agree, you get people that shift sides a little bit here and there, and then we're moving in a positive direction. And the ugly has to come. Not everything is going to be all beautiful, sunshine and rainbows. Lightning will strike. We will flood. There will be fires. People will die. But we learn and we move forward. And I think that comes with dialogue. And it's not always going to be the best. It's not always going to be the prettiest, but it comes with the conversation.
Yep. Conversations are good things to have.
All right, ladies and gents, have a good weekend. 39 years old and the world is changing. We didn't have a guest today, so James and I just had some bro talk. The point of today, get out there and talk to somebody. Talk to somebody you don't agree with about a topic you don't agree with, and keep your hands to yourself. Keep your temper in check and have some dialogue. I promise you, it's one of the most enlightening things you can possibly do in your life.
But don't be a Nazi unless you want to get punched.
All right, that's it. See you later, guys. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.